right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews. Up this week we have, how do I put this, 2.5, or rather, we have 2 actual reviews, and first up we have some impressions, because I was given an early access code that I'm obligated to cover. Now, it's like, got a few of those recently, though this one is, I haven't had a chance to look at the others, but this one is actually seemingly kind of far along. It's hard to tell with early access games.
It's functional.
Yeah, it's like it at least comes across as a completed game. Yeah, it's like, but it's always hard to tell. Anyway, the game up first is Ballistic Mini Golf. We've had a lot of golf this year, far more than I think we ever expected, which is, more than 0 golf games. But I mean, here we are with, another mini golf game, and you might be wondering, why is this called Ballistic Mini Golf? Well, it's because it's all of the action, none of the golf clubs, basically. Like, it's, if I'm being honest, this is basically a game of pool being played on a golf course.
With rockets?
No. Not really. Like, it's,
actually, if there were rockets, it would be likely a violation of the ballisticness. Because ballistic means following a physics-oriented trajectory. Yeah, but this is all of this is mostly about physics. Though I will note that the way you move your ball, it's done in the typical golf game way, or at least the old way. That is to say, it's like got the 3 clicks with timing to get the.
Yep, it's got the timing bar.
Oh, the good way.
I was gonna say. I'll take that over the move your mouse in exactly the right trajectory.
Hope you don't sneeze.
Yeah, no, this is, and it's done the simple way, like 2 clicks instead of 3. Like,
oh man.
Yeah. So if you played, an older golf game, anything up to about the Nintendo Wii, maybe the PlayStation 2. I'm not exactly sure when the whole, use analog stick as a, analog of a golf club started to become a thing. But, it is a thing. We reviewed a game that used that very system this year.
It's harder that way.
Yes.
Especially when you can't be guaranteed that you have a perfectly set up mouse pad for smooth strokes.
Yeah. No, this is all about, reading the power bar and, judging how much energy, for lack of a better term, you need in order to, get to the hole. And it's also got the typical golf game frustrations of, wait, what? That counted as a hit? Like, the button. It's like, here's the thing. Here's a bit of feedback for the developers. It's like hitting, like when you're going for your stroke, for lack of better terminology here, it's like you got to keep the button pressed down, because if you press it once, it thinks you hit the ball. Yeah, it's like that's, it's like, that's annoying, because more than once it, the ball moved about 6 inches and counted as a stroke. And there are no mulligans in this game. It's mini golf.
Aww.
Yeah. It's like, trust me that it's also got the other frustration of golf or mini golf in real life as well as games. That is trying to get the right amount of force to get the ball into the hole when you're like close. Yeah. I'm like, if you've played this game, and I mean mini golf, you know this. It's like, you want to go and tap it, but it doesn't go quite far enough, or you hit it a bit too hard and it goes over the hole.
All of a sudden, you're on like 4 bogey or whatever, and then you just want to just go to the car and get ice cream.
Yeah, I will say that this game does allow you to skip courses that are frustrating, and you will take about a 5-stroke penalty. But that only really matters with the multiplayer. And there are multiplayer options. Unfortunately, since we only got one code, unable to do any, multiplayer thing. Otherwise, I just would have made we would have made a multiplayer video of this instead of an impressions video. So, but you work with what you're given. Anyway, each session, I suppose is a good way of framing it, is 9 holes of golf, back to back to back, and
which is pretty usual.
Yeah, it's like that's pretty standard,
especially for mini golf.
Yeah, it's like admittedly, I was very busy this week, so I only got about an hour. I played I played 18 holes of golf. So unfortunately, it's the beginning courses, and the beginning courses are less sci-fi inspired than what you see even like a course down the line.
Now, do they give you the option to like save between holes, or do you have to sit down and do it all at once?
No, you can save in between holes. It's just I never got back to this game.
It's fair enough. It's just something to ask because some games don't offer that.
Yeah. And yeah, this game is, when it says it's got a sci-fi bent, what they mean is wacky course designs. And instead of having like say windmills as a blocking, you've got iron, steel boxes. Something that looks more sci-fi, and you instead of like a plastic-looking bridge, you've got a gray-looking bridge. And it's got things like ramps and courses that move in angles and ways that you'd never see on an actual golf course.
Yeah, I think there was one of the things in the trailer. It was you were going from one ship to another or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, it is still fairly grounded in, mini golf rules. In fact, honestly, this is it's like, honestly, the course design is more interesting than the way the ball is moved. Which is
honestly, that's kind of what I'd prefer to have be interesting in a golf game.
Let me finish, though. It's kind of odd, though, given that the emphasis is on the ballistics. It's like, but it's like, I really couldn't tell you the difference between what they got going on here and, if you were just hitting it with a putter.
Yeah.
So, it's it's not necessarily a bad thing in terms of like mechanics, but it's kind of a bad thing in terms of the point of the game. Yeah, sure. You've got.
I mean, trying to change the controls in a golf game too much is a very easy way to try and fix something that's not broken.
True. I mean, on the other hand, I'll say it right now. I think Super Inefficient Golf was a much more interesting game. Not necessarily a better game, but it also had the wacky course design, like really impossible places. But you moved entirely with mines. You know.
Mm.
What I'm saying is this game didn't go quite wacky enough with its ideas, at least at this stage, because once again, this is early access, so, and it's been in early access for over a year from what I can see. You know, it's like, that is the thing. Like, this could be in early access for another 3 years.
How often has there like been developer activity? Do you know?
Not offhand. The last thing I saw that was online multiplayer was added fairly recently. You know, once again, and you do get a lot of content here. You know, it's like 216 holes, a lot of different game modes, and you know, there's a lot here already, which definitely showcases that it's been in early access for a while. And thankfully, this is an impressions video, not a review. So far, my impression is it's got some decent ideas here, but it is a game of mini golf.
Yeah, it's nothing really outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as if we're going to revisit this, probably when it exits early access, though how much this is going to match up with an eventual review, it's hard to say. Because, you know, it's like, well, I don't know if how much, you know, that is always the thing. Like, I unless they say that stuff is going to change a lot. Like, I got an early access code for a game called the Texorcist, and it assures me that this game is going to change in development. So, you know, it's like, and we've experienced that before. You know, games that were in early access changed drastically. Assault Android Cactus comes to mind.
Yep. And again, that's why we have the specific no review for early access games.
Right. That's why this isn't a review. But if we're obliged to cover, which occasionally has happened, well, we've got, you know, that's why this is an impressions video. So my impression is, it's decent, especially for the price.
I was about to say you didn't go into price, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like, especially for the price, because the game is currently running $5. And once again, this is the early access price. Because if you want to talk about things that change, one of the biggest things that can change and will change is the price. I'm definitely, like, given what's in the game already, I'm definitely willing to bet that this game will go up in price when it gets into full release. So just keep that in mind.
It might actually be worth getting in early access.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if you like old school golf games, I'd actually say go get this. It's not my particular cup of tea, but that's a preference thing. As far as far as it is right now, I found it to be a serviceable game of golf, even though, like, I see on the Steam page, it's gotten a lot of negative reviews, although it's kind of mixed. You know, it's like, I think the biggest breaking point is more the course design than anything else, because, you know, functionally speaking, this game plays like a golf game, a mini golf game, or, you know, an old golf game, really, because, you know, back in the day, like on the NES and shit, all golf games controlled like this.
You know? Back in my day, children.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It's just things have changed. You know, you know, once again, if you want to see where golf games are now, go watch our review of the Golf Club that we did a few months ago. You know,
almost like we now have not shit analog sticks and vaguely competent motion control.
Yeah. Anyway, as far as Ballistic mini golf, I think the course design is really going to be the breaking factor here. You know, it's like, if you want something more straight-laced, yeah, this is like, once again, that's more the golf club. I'm like, I'm not exactly sure what to recommend in terms of something that's, mini golf, but, like mini golf as you would experience it in the real world. I guess along those lines, just go play mini golf.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
I mean, most places you could probably play around a mini golf for $5-10.
Plus, that kind of thing is outside the scope of this Impressions video. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and as far as doing the multiplayer, don't think we're going to be sent any other codes. That's it's just the one.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, that is the current impressions for Ballistic Mini Golf. Be sure to tune in after the break, as we will have our first proper review of the evening with This Is the Police 2.